So
Can you tell at all from this angle what was behind the bird bath?
Well, there's a rifle there.
And at some point, you discover a rifle in your barn.
Yes.
Do you keep guns in your barn?
Not normally. My dad, sometimes he'd keep a pellet gun up there, but he hasn't been walking for a few years, so.
So what did you do well, first off, when did you first see this gun?
Well, I was organizing along the wall, like I say, I was cleaning out my shed, and I wanted to go through these, like, garden tools, because making sure I still use them, were they broken, when I was going to throw them away, so and then I was organizing, putting lumber where the lumber goes, the recycling where the recycling goes. And so I lifted up a board and I saw a barrel of a gun, and I thought, right away I thought, what's my dad, what the heck has he got his pellet gun over here? So I picked it up by the barrel and looked at it, and I right away recognized it wasn't a gun that I'd ever saw or seen ever before.
And just to be clear for the jury, this gun, before you lifted it up, was behind a board?
Yes, it was behind us. There was like maybe 4 or 5 different boards there.
Okay. So upon realizing you don't know where this gun came from, what do you do?
Well, the first thing is I
mute button. Fuck. Get it together, Metrix. Sorry. So, Philip Markoff killed himself by slashing his wrists along the length of his arm. Fuck me. All the way from his wrist to his elbow. Then he wrote on the wall in his own blood in his cell, Pocket. That's all I remember. There might have been another message. Pocket was the pet name that he had for, well, he and his fiancée had for each other. Strange one. Then he tied his bed sheets around both of his feet and his neck and lay on the ground on his belly, so that when he passed out from the blood loss, the weight of his feet would pull on the sheets and strangle him. I mean, that's how a med student does it. Jesus Christ. What a way to go. What a mess.
just felt sort of this sick feeling, and I set it back down, and then I went to ask my father just to make sure that he didn't know about any gun in the shed. And I went and asked, and he said, well, what does it look like, or whatever? And I said, well, Dad, I'm just going to call the police. And then I called Krista, the head of the investigation. She left me her number, and I called her and spoke with her and told her what I'd found, and she told me that she was going to send somebody out.
Okay, and do you remember roughly what month?
Oh, it was in the middle of October-ish, because I wanted to clean out the shed earlier, but the police were there for so long. My raspberries started, so it was after the raspberries were done, which was sometime in the end of October-ish.
Okay, all right, so it was a few months later.
Yes.
I'm going to show you Exhibit 71.
You see, Every time she picks raspberries now, she's going to remember finding the weapon. All the nice things to do on her farm are ruined forever.
Is that a picture of the gun that you found in your barn?
It's kind of a glare.
Oh, I'm sorry. It is.
It looks to be.
Do you want to look at the actual photo?
Yeah, that would be
Do that.
helpful. But it looks similar. Yes.
Ms. Raymond, if you want to show that to the jury as you walk back towards the Elmo.
Bless you.
And exhibit 72. That's just a close-up of the same.
Yes.
And then they actually were published 73 and 74. So did the police then in October, after you found the gun, come and retrieve the gun?
Yes.
And in July, when Chandler was on your farm, did you have your barn or your shed locked at all?
No.
No further questions.
Cross-examination.
Thank you. Good morning.
Hi.
Picking up where you just left off, do you ever lock or close up that shed or barn?
I haven't for some years. When I used to go to Florida in the winter, I would close it and lock it, but I haven't been there for a while. So, no.
And is it fair to say that before you got the garbage bin and did the major cleaning of the shed, you didn't know exactly every item that was in there, right?
No, not every single item, no.
And you testified that there was a delay in getting the garbage bin and cleaning out that shed because the police were there for a while.
That's correct.
How long were they there in possession of your property or on your property?
Whew, seemed like forever. A couple of weeks at least, maybe longer.
And they had closed off that area to you?
Yes, they got kind of upset every time I come up with a lawnmower because I couldn't even mow my lawn, and it was frustrating. So, but they pretty much kept me by my house. They didn't really want me anywhere around.
And was it your understanding that they were searching that area at that time?
Yeah, they were searching my whole property. They served me with a warrant.
Now, moving back in time a little bit to 4th of July weekend, I think I heard you testified that Chandler Halderson was not acting like himself. Is that right?
That's correct.
And it was for that observation that you and Dulce might have thought, oh, is he doing some drugs? Is that right?
It was a question because we couldn't figure out why he seemed a little off.
And you had never seen him like that before, right?
No.
And normally he's sort of a quiet, nerdy kid, right?
Yeah, that's a good description.
That's all the questions I have. Thank you.
Can you redirect?
No, Your Honor.
Normally, he's a quiet, nerdy wimp. Yeah. It's a good description.
And may Miss Lisai
Oh, thank you so much, Nicole E.
excused at this time,
She's excused.
but not released?
Correct.
That means that you're still under the subpoena with which you've been served, so you can't discuss your testimony with anyone, but you're excused unless recalled by the state at any time. You can stay in touch with them. Thank you very much.
All right, thank
Have
you.
a good rest of your day.
State calls
Who's
Brent
next?
Baverstock instead.
Brent Baverstock. Who's that? Not another boring detective. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's going to be the guy that's responsible for searching the farm. I don't know if we should watch that.
Detective, you anticipated my question. If you're willing and able to safely and responsibly testify without a mask, please do so. Thank you. Attorney
Let's
Brown.
go to Dulce.
And then please state and spell your name for the jury.
It's Brent Baverstock, B-R-E-N-T-B.
Nobody cares.
Thank you. Please be seated, everyone. Good morning, folks. Thanks again for being so prompt. I appreciate it very much. I wanted to, and I must once again, ask whether anyone in between the time I saw you at the end of the day yesterday and this morning were exposed intentionally or unintentionally to any information about the case, participated in or had discussions or were overhearing discussions about the case or sought any information via any media whatsoever. I see no hands. Thank you very much. We're going to proceed today then with the state's case in chief. Attorney Brown.
State calls Dulce Melander.
All right, she's going to be sworn. Blah, blah, blah.
Heard. Did you say yes to the oath that you swore?
Oh, I did.
Thank you.
I say yes.
Thank you. With the masks and with being nervous, I'm sure it was hard to tell. I wanted to make sure the record reflected that. Secondly, you just took off your mask. Are you comfortable, and do you think you can safely and responsibly testify without wearing a mask?
I just feel like they won't hear me then.
I appreciate that. And if you can do so, if you're okay being unmasked, we will all, except for whoever's asking questions, be unmasked, so we have that layer of protection. If that's all right with you, please proceed without your mask on. And I'll remask myself, as I'm not going to do any more talking. Attorney Brown.
All right. Good morning. What we're going to start with is I'm going to have you tell us your name and spell it out because the court reporter is writing everything down.
My name is Dulce Melander, Dulcemellenter.
And Dulce, do you have a daughter named Catherine?
Yes, I do.
And does she go by the name Kat?
Yes.
And for a while, back last year and maybe a little before, was Kat dating someone named Chandler Halderson?
Yes.
And you got to know Chandler Halderson pretty well yourself, didn't you?
Yes. Yes.
Approximately, and it's okay if it's just kind of a range, how long do you think your daughter was dating Chandler?
Around 2 years.
Okay. And you would see Chandler pretty frequently?
Yeah, kind of, yes.
Okay. So there's this thing we're going to do now where the judge in 1 second is going to have everyone that is wearing a mask take them off just briefly. That's over here. And I'm going to ask you, do you see Chandler in the courtroom? So wait 1 second.
I would ask if everyone who's not in the jury box would lower their mask for the count of 3 so that the witness can observe everyone's faces. 1, 2, 3. Go ahead and replace your masks, please.
Ms. Melander, do you see Chandler in the courtroom?
Yes.
Can you tell me where he's sitting and kind of describe what his clothes are today?
He's wearing a blue tie and kind of white.
And is he sitting to my left over here?
Yes.
I'd ask the record reflect identification.
It will.
Your daughter, in the course of dating Chandler, sometimes stayed with you and sometimes she had her own apartment, right?
Yes.
Okay. And what types of things would you do where you would see Chandler while they were dating?
He will cook, we will cook, or we will be order beat-ups.
B-Dubs, Buffalo
Yeah.
Wild Wings?
Yes, yes.
And would you see him every day or every week or a couple times a month?
Oh, well, repeat the question again.
How often would you see him?
Often when Catherine wasn't home, yes.
Were you aware from Chandler if he had a job back in 2021 before all this happened?
He was working at, what is the name again? Can you give me a second?
Yeah.
He was working at the swimming. I think he was the DNR or yeah.
Do you know what he was doing for them?
Well, he's a good swimmer, so he wasn't called to, I don't know, to rescue, to see something on the waters. I really, but it was something with the DNR, I remember.
He would get called to do rescues and things like that?
Yes. Very, I think it was very, yeah.
At some point, did Chandler get another job that you were aware of?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Tell me about what job was that?
That was the American Family Insurance.
And what sticks out to you about remembering about Chandler working at American Family Insurance?
Well, I took him out to eat because he got the job.
Yeah, when he got his fake job, we celebrated, and I took him out for a 3-course dinner. And he's sitting there, being congratulated, being treated, being rewarded. Order anything you want, Chandler. You want the big steak? Have the big steak. You know, and he's lapping it up, right? That's a great bonus for him. I invented a job, and now my would-be mother-in-law is taking me out for a meal. I'm paying for everything. Can I get 2 desserts?
But he was, he had people, a group of people, they were putting on for him. Yes.
So you took him out to eat when he got the job?
Yes.
Where did you go to eat?
Oh, Mexican Rositas. He likes the tacos.
Okay, so we checked out Pedro's the other day that the Hilgendorfs like. It's since become permanently closed. Can we bring up a picture of that? If anyone missed this the other day, we found out why they permanently closed. Look at this fucking dish. This is the most non-food picture I've ever seen. And you have to remember that someone who works for Pedro's took this picture deliberately to promote their cuisine. Are you kidding me? With the idea that people are going to come to them, order this, and be willing to part with their hard-earned cash. Wow. But let's have a look at Rosita's if we can. I want to know, I want to see if I can guess what Chandler ordered for his rewards celebration dinner. Oh, celebration dinner. Wendy, come here.
And was this kind of a celebratory dinner? Did people dress up and things like that?
Yeah, he was dressed up really nice.
And did Mr. Halderson or did Chandler tell you about the job that he was getting at American Family Insurance?
Briefly. It was something about computers. You know, he's a computer guy.
Sure. And he was dating your daughter at this time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Were you happy that your daughter's boyfriend had a job?
Yes.
Was that important to you?
Objection.
Yes.
Overruled. The answer can stand.
What did that mean?
No, it was all legal nonsense. We'll just, it's all right. So after the time you take him out to celebrate getting the American Family job, you get Mexican food. Did Chandler ever talk to you much about his job at American Family Insurance?
Yeah, he was working at home. That's about it.
Did you know anything about exactly what he was doing?
Just computers.
Did you
I
know?
think-
Yeah, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
I think it was just computers and also I think it was just computers.
Thinking back to that dinner where you were celebrating him getting the job at American Family, if you had to give us kind of an approximate time, do you know when that was?
I think it was afternoon, mid-afternoon maybe. I don't quite remember.
What time of the year?
Bethany says, I think she still believes he had all these jobs and is still proud of him. Yeah, he was a real go-getter.
Oh,
Do you know if it was in the spring? Do you remember at all? It's okay if you don't.
no, I don't remember.
Who all went to that dinner?
Just him and I.
Oh, okay. You two together.
Yes.
Okay.
I asked him to meet me there.
Whose idea was it to go out?
Mine.
And because he had gotten the job?
Yes.
And you paid for dinner, I would imagine?
Yes. Yes.
So other than knowing he worked on some computer stuff and for American Family, did you know anything else about that job, really?
Well, he wanted to do the solar panels, but I don't know. I don't know. The American Family was getting him for the solar panels, but I know he was very good in computers.
Was
Yeah, games. Computer games. Tarkov, computer game.
Chandler, around this time, was he going to school anywhere while he was working at American Family?
He was having, he was doing a credit.
I think the thing is with Dulce Melinda is that she's very confused about what her role is here, right? I mean, we know obviously that Kat and Dulce continued to speak with Chandler on the phone while he was being held in what is it? Dane County? You know, county jail, awaiting trial. And obviously they couldn't talk about anything to do with anything. He couldn't like give them a version of what happened, right? Because it's being recorded. That's very convenient for him, isn't it? I really don't see any reason that his attorneys would be divulging in information to Kat or Dulce. So they have probably been playing blind. You know, I think Mitchell has got enough on his plate. He's not. I think, you know, Kat mentions a few things about him, but you know, what information do they have since they went to the police station? Kat was interviewed in one room, Chandler was interviewed in the other. Chandler never came out. So, of course, they have the information that Bart's torso was found on Crescit Lasai's property and that the cutting implements and stuff like that were found, and there was this huge search that took a couple of weeks at least at the farm. That they would know because it's they're involved with the property. So, but the rest, nothing's been able to be. So my point is that Dulce is very confused about what her role is, right? I don't know that she knows why she's here.
Because he was going to UW, so he was needed a credit to go to the UW. I think because Catherine's, I think
Did Chandler talk to you much about going to school and what classes he was taking?
no. It was one class that he needed to graduate.
He was about to graduate.
I think so.
Amy, we'll probably play that next, the jail calls. Hey, Michelle, how you doing?
Going into kind of the late spring of last year, so May, and then into June, and maybe the summer, into July, just before everything started, that bad happened, did Chandler get a new job somewhere else in the country?
Your Honor?
Yes.
I'm sorry, but can we approach real quick?
Okay. We're going to have a conversation that nobody else can hear, so we use this white noise.
Yeah. How are the elves doing, Judge?
Can I?
That's hand sanitizer, though. We're not going to drink that.
Oh.
Yeah. Here, no, we have a bottle of water, Judge, right here.
Oh.
Sorry. They make these look like water bottles. We got to get rid of that.
Oh. I must take all the sanitizer.
Has anyone ever confused hand sanitizer with a water bottle? I did see a girl do that once with liquid ketamine. She went down like a sack of hammers. She did live.
Sir.
Did Chandler ever talk to you about getting another job somewhere else in the country sometime this past year?
Yes.
And where was that job?
In Florida.
Do you know what you'd be doing or where you'd be working?
He was supposed to get samples, but I don't know of what. But
Oh, go ahead.
but he was going to Florida.
Florida.
Yeah.
Did he tell you what company it was?
You know the very pricey cars? It's a very pricey car. I don't know the name of the car.
Is it, what type of car is it?
Oh, like $50,000 car.
Is it Tesla?
Tesla, yes.
Is it one of those?
But I think Tesla has another company that is from Tesla. I don't remember the name. I'm sorry.
Did Chandler share with you personally? And I know he shared a lot with your daughter, but I'm asking kind of what you knew just from Chandler. Did he share with you any details about what this job was and what he'd be doing?
He was going to get those samples, and he also was working for the solar panels too, because I think it has something to do. It's kind of an engineering job or something like that. Yeah.
Job in Florida was?
Yes. Yes.
Did he tell you personally, if he'd be making more money or less money? Did he talk about money at all about that job?
But he says that he will have a good job. It will good money. Yeah.
Did Chandler ever talk to you about where he was going to live down here? Or if he had gotten a house or anything like that?
It was an apartment that he showed me.
How did he show you?
In his cell phone.
Did he say if he had a car or anything like that?
Yes. Yes.
Tell me what you knew about that from Chandler.
Well, Catherine has my car. And I say that, Catherine, if you guys need a car, take my car. And the three of us, we were talking about about the car in the apartment. And I'm sorry, it's just a bad burp. And he says that his cars over there, they are very cheap because older people they're kind of they don't drive anymore, or they're past, and then they have cars in there. So he was ordering the car, and I say that I will sign my car for them can sell it and then can buy maybe 2 cars. Oh, and then
Yeah, older people always do that, don't they? Can't drive anymore, so let's sell it for half the value. Yeah, cars in Florida very cheap. You know why? Old people. I mean, the way this guy creates stuff, you can just tell that he's never been through anything in life.
and he was saying, oh, I will take care of it.
So you mentioned your daughter. Was your daughter going to go with Chandler before from what we knew?
Yes.
And did Chandler talk to you about that? About having Catherine go with him?
The day that he brought Catherine home because she have an injury in her back, he did. He basically asked me,
Your permission.
yeah.
What did you think about it?
I was very worried.
Wow.
Was that about marrying Kat?
She's my only daughter. I was uncertain.
Yeah.
You were uncertain.
Yes.
I'm going to start asking you questions about kind of the 4th of July week. Okay? You remember the 4th of July weekend that we mentioned last year?
Oh, yes. Yes.
From the 4th of July weekend, there were some plans to get together, right? With Catherine and Chandler and other people. Right?
Yes.
You were living here in Madison at the time, right?
Yes.
But is it your fiance?
Yes.
Chris
Yes.
has a farm kind of in a rural area of Dayton, right?
Yes.
So it's Chris's farm, but you're engaged with Chris.
Yes. We got engaged in May.
In May.
Yes.
And Chris lives in that farm with her, the elderly farm.
Yes.
But you go out there.
I live part-time there, yes.
Judge. Sorry again, but can we approach?
Same thing.
She's drinking the hand sanitizer again. She's gonna be drunk. Yeah, someone should have prepped her. Is the defense allowed to, prepare? To have preparation with a statement? Maybe
so
not.
Tell me about what the plan was on the 4th of July.
Well, we have a swimming pool, and we ask if they want to swim, they can swim, or just eat, and yeah.
Where were you going to have this get together?
Oh, at the farm. Yeah.
Can you tell the jury a little bit about what does it look like?
Do I have to face them?
You can face me.
But do pull the microphone a little bit closer because the fans seem fairly noisy right now. Go ahead.
It's like a paradise. It's peaceful.
It used to be. Now all we see is turkey vultures everywhere.
It's green and it's flowers that you don't see. It's just beautiful.
So the 4th of July weekend, who all went to the farm for this evening?
Chandler, Catherine, James, one of James' friend, Chris, Michael, and Papa and me.
Did Chandler talk at all at the 4th of July get together about having suffered any sort of injuries, had injuries or things of that sort?
I beg your pardon?
Did Chandler ever tell you during the time about suffering any sort of concussion or head injury?
Oh, we knew. I knew that he had a concussion. Yeah, he fell.
And was Chandler acting the same or differently than usual on the 4th of July because of that?
He was kind of okay, quiet. But yeah, he was sitting at the table with the other kids. So
What types of things did you do that day?
we ate, and we were waiting that the kids will be going and use the pool, and then went and used the pool actually. Just happy that the kids were at home.
And the kids used the pool?
Yeah.
Did Chandler,
Catherine and James' friend used the pool. Yes. I don't know if Chandler got into the pool, but I think Chandler always was cleaning the.
Yeah, it's Kat's mom, Michelle.
The debris. Yeah.
cleaning the pool?
Yeah. Yeah.
The next day, do you know if Chandler went back to the farm on July 5th, which would be a Monday?
Yes.
And how did you become aware that Chandler went back to the farm?
Because Catherine texted me.
Did you then go out to the farm?
I fly to the farm. Yes.
Why do you fly to the farm? Why so fast?
I was just worried. Can I have 1 minute?
There's another bottle of water on the floor.
Oh,
I know those are small. Do you want to take them?
yes,
Do you need a break?
yes.
Do you think that you need more than just a few moments outside of the courtroom?
Just a few minutes
Okay.
right now.
I'll go ahead and excuse the witness. Don't talk about your testimony with anyone, but you can go back to where Ms. Brown is in the vestibule.
Go right this way. You forgot your mask. I'll grab it. You can do it there.
If it's all right with the jury, we'll just stay. You can stand up if you need to or stretch. But I think if we excuse ourselves and come back, we'll lose additional time, as you know better than I, how long it can take.
So what do we have here? We have a beaver, some iron bars, some crops, a plough, a pickaxe and shovel, an arm and a hammer, an anchor, a miner, and a cowboy. Let's get busy. Her break is longer than the defense's opening statement. Yeah.
Times she that Chandler can wait by the driveway because my fiance sometimes is a big farm, so sometimes she just like to be with just no top.
Sure. In the pool.
To go to the pool, yeah, she just put her shorts to go to the pool.
Okay.
And no top. So I was worried that he might.
Prior to that day, when you found out that Chandler was maybe going out there by himself, are you aware if Chandler had gone out to the farm much before by himself, alone, without Kat? So the better question is, do you know if Chandler usually went out there by himself?
Oh, no. No, Chandler will never go to the farm without Catherine.
So this would have been the first time that you're aware of?
Yes.
So you drive out to the farm. You flew out there, I think you said.
Yes, because I was worried that Chandler will had the shock of his life seeing my partner.
Right. When you get there, do you talk to your partner, Cress?
When I got there, it was Chandler and Chris talking on the porch.
You know what they were talking about? Did you overhear it?
But I opened the door and Chandler looked like sad, kind of sleepy, like, those, like, I don't know. He did not look okay to me. But I didn't hear what they were talking until Chris says there was some news.
Okay. There was some news. Do you know what the news was? Did you hear Chandler talk about it? What was that news?
That he didn't get a job.
Which job?
The one in Florida.
Okay. Do you know why he didn't get that job?
Because he couldn't, he was supposed to be there, but his brother got sick, so he couldn't go. And the next time he fell and couldn't go, and I think they couldn't hold the job anymore because he can't go, he couldn't fly to Florida.
Because of the fall?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The concussion, his concussion was really bad.
Okay. What did Chandler ask to do, or what happened next at the farm?
Well, we were very supportive. We were like, he lost a good job, and I was worried about him putting on money for the apartment, and Chris and I were trying to
Why do I get the feeling that Dulce is still under the impression that all of this is real, even today, 4 years later?
find out how can we help him because he looked really, really like down and
Did you all stay together, or did some point Chandler go somewhere else on the farm?
we were talking, and then after that he basically excused himself to go swimming.
Okay. And did he go by himself, or did you go with him at that point?
No, he went by himself.
Okay. What did you and Cress do while Chandler was swimming?
We were trying to figure it out how to help them, how to help him. He just got a concussion. I was very upset with Krista because
Very upset with Krista, right? Very upset with Krista. Why? What has he been saying?
why she wasn't to taking him that day. He has a doctor's appointment.
He thought his mom should have been there.
Yeah, so we were talking about, as a mom, I was very upset with his mom.
How long, at some point, did you go down to the pool to check on Chandler with Cress?
We were,
You see, Chandler's been planting these seeds for weeks, months, probably. Why? Because he wants to get in to Dulce's house and be allowed to live there for free and have free use of her vehicle. He's running out of stories to tell his parents about why he hasn't paid any rent, about why he hasn't gotten his college transcripts and degree verification. Obviously, this news story of getting a job with Elon Musk at SpaceX is going to fall flat. So what is he going to do? How many excuses are too many? What he needs is an exit strategy. His exit strategy is to manipulate his girlfriend's mother into giving him free reign, accommodation, transport, and probably food as well, right? And you know what he does to get free food? He offers to cook. He offers to cook. You know what he doesn't do after he cooks? Wash up. So he acts like it's this generous thing of, hey, I'm going to cook for you. I'm going to cook you a great meal, family meal. Here's a list of the ingredients I'll need. Let me know when you get back from the store. I'm going to use every single pan you have in the house, and I'm going to leave them all on the counter. They'll be ready for you. They'll be ready for you. And she does it, bless her. So part of him getting into this free accommodation, this free vehicle, all the food he wants, is hey, my mother's being a total bitch. I got injured and she's making me do chores and take all the lawn cuttings to the dump when my doctor says no heavy lifting. So Dulce is getting annoyed with Krista, his mother, which furthers her motivation to come to his rescue and give him sanctuary. And it would have worked. It would have worked had he not murdered his mother and dad, chopped them, mum and dad, and chopped them into bits and set their heads on fire and got caught the next day after making the police report. I mean, it would have worked. That would have been a better option. That would have been a great option.
I was asking Chris what we're going to have for dinner. I bring chicken, and she was very upset. And it was a while.
How long do you think it was before you went down to check on Chandler at the pool?
Uncivil law. Who are you, and why is your name got a highlighted in gray? That's cool. I want to do that. Is it a channel? It must be a channel. Welcome, Uncivil Law. Welcome to True Crime Metrix.
I don't know, probably half an hour maybe, or a little bit longer, because I don't know. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
But
Did you go alone, or did you and Cress go together?
no, we got together. Oh yeah, of course.
And how did you get down to that area?
We use a little car where we mow the lawn.
A lawnmower?
Yeah, lawnmower. So
You would think if you can remember the English term for mow the lawn, you could probably piece that together, reverse engineer it for the term lawn mower.
I basically inherited the lawnmower that Papa used to use, and so we, like a two grannies going to.
You were both on the lawnmower?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And did you drive down toward the pool?
Well, we drove to the pool. Yes.
Tell me about where you went as you were driving.
What do you mean?
Yeah, where did you go first when you started driving down to the pool?
Well, we went to the pool. It's on a little hill, so we went, and we didn't see Chandler swimming. We didn't see anything, so we turned right, and we saw the car, and I thought he was sleeping.
Where was the car in relation to the pool? Was it close or farther away?
Oh.
Would it help if I showed you a map?
Oh yes.
A photo?
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, a photo. Yeah.
I have a huge photo of the farm.
Oh.
Okay. I'm going to show you. I told you it was big. It's number 57. Is that the farm? From above? From like an airplane?
Yeah, right, Christina. The pool, the swimming pool is a must. He's going to need that for his aqua therapy. So I want the house and your vehicle. I want a daily food delivery, a cash budget, and the swimming pool for my aqua therapy. The doctor says that I must be in water for 6 hours a day.
Yes. That is the shed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the house, you cannot see it because it's a lot of trees.
Sure.
But can I point it?
Yeah, so here's what I'll do. Does this look to be like what the farm would have looked like back in July, except for all of these police cars that are kind of involved? But otherwise, is this what the farm looked like?
Yes.
All right, I'll move 57 into evidence.
Any objection?
No objection.
It is received. It may be published.
All right, I'm going to move this a little bit closer to you, okay?
Okay.
And you can stand up if you'd like. How about if you could you point, where's the driveway meet the road? Where's the entrance to the farm?
Right over here.
Follow it all the way down, and
Now you can see it.
right there. All right, I'll hold on to this.
Over here.
And where's the house? Can you point to that?
Oh, right.
You can kind of see the roof.
Yes. That is the house. This is the other shed.
And where's the pool that we're talking about? Okay. Now, if you could, kind of standing off to the side so these folks can see you, if you could point to, maybe just take your finger and trace the way that you drove down to the pool on that lawnmower.
We always drove this way.
Okay. And the pool is here. Where did you say you saw Chandler's car?
Oh, about right here.
Okay. And you said you thought he was sleeping?
Yeah, the back of the car. The trunk was open, so I thought he was sleeping.
Okay. And did you drive your lawnmower? Did you folks drive over by that car to look in?
Mm-hmm.
And what did you see?
I saw something that was a little bit metal. It looks like, you know, when you put a car and it's like a little,
Like a ramp?
yeah, like a little ramp,
Okay.
like a gray kind of.
Bill, you want to move the mic? It's really difficult to hear.
Sure.
Yep.
How about you take a seat real quick, and we'll keep asking
And
questions.
while we're moving, let me just reflect for the record that if you think of the upper half of the picture and the middle of the upper half, the witness indicated that the road from the access road to the driveway to the house is in the upper middle portion of the half. You can see a small amount of roadway. She traced her finger through the woods, demonstrating that the house is within the wooded area in that upper quadrant, identified the swimming pool as a round shape, and indicated that the driving.
Yeah, Kurt. Dulce still buys this, apparently. I mean, I think at this stage, she's thinking that some terrible misunderstanding has happened, and we're all here to resolve this injustice against Chandler and set him free. I mean, that seems to be, you know, I really, does anyone know? Does the defense have a right to, you know, give a preparation to a state witness? Or are they prohibited from doing that? Because I really think the defense, if they were allowed to do so, should have grabbed Dulce to one side and said, okay, let's paint a picture of what we're trying to do, you know? Because she seems to have missed a couple of meetings on the way in.
With herself and Cress on the lawnmower was from the area approximately where the house was down to the back of the shed, and indicated that the vehicle of Mr. Halderson was lower into the lower half of the picture, approximately where you can see some unidentified objects that don't appear to be cars. Is that accurate, counsel?
That's fair. Well, why don't you, if you could, one more time, point to where Mr. Halderson's car was when you drove down there?
That's the part I couldn't see as clearly.
It was right over here.
All right. And so we'll just say that is approximately 3 inches below the barn on the photograph. Okay.
And in between
There's no death penalty in Wisconsin, Claudia.
the cars and the other items, if you were to split that distance kind of at an intersection between a line south if you view north as the top of the picture of the barn, intersecting with a line between those white cars and the other objects.
That's fine. All right, you can take a seat.
Any problem with that description, counsel?
No.
All right, thank you.
And we have to do that because we're typing out the court record. So when we point to things, the judge will describe what they are sometimes. So you saw the car, you said the back was open, and you saw maybe a ramp type thing. Did you see Chandler in that car?
No.
I don't know if I don't know that the state is regretting calling the witness, Christina. I mean, from the jury's perspective, what are they seeing? They're seeing that Chandler has told her a load of shit. You know, it's a good exemplar of his web of lies. We obviously can't have Bart and Krista here to represent that to the jury. Kat will also be present, obviously. Maybe we should have a look at her next and then go to the jail calls. I think that's what we'll do, yeah. Who else would there be? I mean, Cress, a little bit, but she wasn't really involved. Then some of the colleagues of Krista kind of gave an opinion. But, you know, Chandler, Dulce was a big focus for Chandler's as one of the main people that he would be talking to and telling this bullshit to. So aside from her being kind of difficult to ask questions of because she's not really understanding what's going on, but yeah, I think the state's quite pleased. I think the fact that she is so confused works well for the state as far as the jury are looking at, this lady's been totally fucking blindsided by this nut job, Chandler.
No, you're fine.
No.
Um,
I'm sorry.
There we go.
Sorry. No.
Chandler wasn't in the car?
No.
At that time, when you're looking at the car, did you see where Chandler was right then?
No.
Did you know where Chandler was?
No.
What did you and Crest do?
But she was upset. And I said, well,
I'm going to object at this point.
I'm sorry, object to.
Possible hearsay that may come out.
I'm sorry, hold on, I can't hear you.
Possible hearsay that may come out.
What? I'm sorry.
Attorney Brown will rephrase the question to make sure he's asking what you thought or said.
Sure. And Crest is going to testify next, right?
Oh, yeah.
In this case. So the jury is only going to hear from you now and then Crest next. So anything she said, we'll hear from her. But what did you and Crest do at that time? Not what was said, but what did you do?
We went to the pool.
Okay. You jumped in the pool.
Yeah.
Okay. Was it just you and Crest in the pool?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
At some point while you were in the pool, did you see Chandler or figure out where Chandler was?
No, he was coming to the pool.
Okay. You saw him?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you could, I'm going to have you stand up and point to where did you see Chandler coming from the first time you saw him while you were in the pool? Okay. All right.
The pool is right here, so he was walking.
Okay. And did you see where he'd come from before that? Okay. I'll note the witness just pointed to the right of the barn, essentially. That's fine.
Thank you. That does appear to be accurate. Counsel for the defense agrees. Perfect. We have the what you pointed to reflected accurately in the record. Thank you.
Okay.
What did Chandler do? You saw him coming. Where did he go, or what did he do?
He asked if he can get in the pool with us.
Okay. And what did you say?
I was like, I was like, no.
No.
But I say it myself, no.
What?
What was the question? I gotta know. What was the goddamn question?
I'll note the witness just pointed to the right of the barn, essentially. That's fine.
Thank you. That does appear to be accurate. Counsel for the defense agrees. Perfect.
Yeah, I think you've summed it up there nicely. Microbial dance party. The more confused she seems, the more manipulative and exploitative Chandler comes across to the jury. He's just tied her all in knots. Yeah. No, I think the state's quite happy with the witness. She's not doing anything that would aid Chandler's case, and she's not doing anything that detracts from the state's case. So, yeah, I think they'd call her again in a heartbeat.
Perfect. We have the what you pointed to reflected accurately in the record. Thank you.
Okay.
What did Chandler do? You saw him coming. Where did he go, or what did he do?
He asked if he can get in the pool with us.
And what did you say?
I was like, I was like, no.
No?
But I say it myself, no.
Why?
Look at her. She's going to burst into
Because
tears.
Chris didn't have clothes on the top.
She didn't have a top on. Okay.
Oh my God.
Did Chandler
It's like she's confessing to her priest. Bless you, my child.
what happened next? Did Chandler go away? Did he get in the pool? What happened?
He got in the pool.
What did Chandler do once he got in the pool?
He was just, he was looking, he was looking to the horizon.
And was he in the water?
Yes.
What was he doing in the water physically? Was he moving around? Was he swimming?
He was like going underwater and, putting on water on his body and,
So you're making those motions on your arm, and this is one of those weird things because we have to type down everything that's happening. How would you describe what he was doing when you put your hands on your arms?
like he was, putting on water. When you put water and
So staring off kind of through that field toward the horizon and
yes, because Chris is behind me and I put my body to kind of shield her but Chandler was looking to the horizon. And then he turned around and then he was getting more on the water and he was like on the water.
Alice in Wonderland. I got to write that down. I like that. P toplessity. I can see that on a coffee mug. I can definitely see that on a coffee mug. Let me know where you would like for me to send your commissions.
Was he saying anything?
Not much. The water was nice and warm, but
Did you or Cress ask Chandler where he had been?
Objection to the form of the question.
Sustained. You can rephrase.
Did Chandler tell you where he had been?
no, I thought he went for a walk. Because he wasn't in the car, he was walking. That's what I thought.
Yeah. So Chandler came over. I don't know where the voice message is to Chris, but he's like, "Oh, Chris, I just got back from the doctor and I had some pretty terrible news and I was wondering if I could come and take a few laps of the pool for my aquatherapy." And so he got there, he spoke to her and Dulce, and then said, "I'm going to go and use the pool." And he's specifically come here to use the pool to do some kind of exercises, physio, whatever in the water, right? To the point where they've allowed him to go up alone for whatever, so he can make use of the pool in the way that he wants. and, you know, giving him time. They're waiting. Cress is really fucking hot and wants to go to the pool. She's getting impatient. Eventually they go up. Must be like, what? What do you think? 40 minutes later? I mean, it had to be some kind of substantial amount of time. She's not going to get impatient after 10 minutes. I mean, it's a little drive up there. He drove up there, but it would take a few minutes just to get there. So get there, possibly change, get in the pool, do your aquatherapy. Minimum that's going to take is 30, 40 minutes. So I'd say it was probably an hour before they went up after Cress got frustrated, right? So they go up, and it's obvious that no one's been in the pool, even though that's the sole reason he came round. And his car isn't even parked next to the pool. They go over to his car, he's not in it. So they go back to the pool and eventually see him walking out of the woods. What was he doing in the woods? Log stretches?
What I thought, that's what I said to Chris.
Now, I'm going to ask you a question. If you don't remember, that's okay. But when Chandler was walking toward the pool and right before he got in, did he still have all his clothes on, or did he have some of his clothes off?
He had his shorts on, and he didn't have his. I think his shirt was off.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay. So tell me if I'm remembering this correctly. So you see him walking, coming from next to the barn. As you see him, he's wearing his shorts, but not his shirt. He gets in the pool. He stares off kind of toward the horizon, and he is splashing water onto himself. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Did he tell you anything at all about what he was going to do next or what his plans were that day?
Yes, he was going to my place because Catherine was making his favorite. And we asked what was his favorite. And he says McDonald's.
He's going to go get McDonald's.
McDonald's. And I said, Catherine is a lazy. She should not make McDonald's.
You thought your daughter would cook something better.
I'm like, yeah. I mean, they always cook good food in the house.
Sure.
Yeah. They always cook good food. Yeah. Yeah, he always gives me a list of what to buy and uses every pan in the house and leaves it for me to clean.
How long were you in the pool with Chandler? You and Cress and Chandler. How long did that last?
I don't know. Probably, I don't remember how long, but I mean, we were still, I think maybe 15 minutes, maybe.
Do you know how it ended? Did everyone
Oh, no, okay, 15 minutes in the pool.
get out at the same time, or did
No.
How did it end with Chandler at least being there?
Chandler, after Chandler, went and swim for a little bit. He didn't swim.
Yeah.
Because he didn't even wet his hair.
Yeah, just the parts
After
of his
he went
body
and
that
just
touched.
splash himself, then he get out of the pool and then I feel more comfortable, and so
Chandler left at that point?
yes. Well, he has to go back to pick up his car.
Sure. And did you see him after that, or did he leave at that point, after he got his car?
No, he just went, got his car, and then drove off, and we just waved him. We was very happy that he came, but which was strange because Catherine wasn't with him, but.
At any point the day before the 4th of July when you were out there, or this day, the July 5th, Monday, so Sunday or Monday when you see Chandler, does he tell you that his parents are anywhere, at a cabin or anything like that?
Yes, he says that they were going up north, or they went up north. But that was Sunday. They already left, and I already knew because, I already knew.
Did Chandler ever express any concern to you about where his parents were? That he was worried about them at all?
He looked worried. Yeah.
He looked worried? But maybe, did he say anything about that or just looked worried?
No, he didn't say too much about it. But on Tuesday, that was different.
Right. And we're going to go there in 1 second, but one more question about the July 4th and July 5th when you see Chandler out at the farm. Would you describe the way he was acting, his behavior?
Objection, leading.
We'll hear the full question.
Would you describe his behavior or the way he was acting? Was that normal for Chandler? Was it different than usual?
It was a little bit different.
What do you
On
mean?
that Sunday?
Yeah, let's talk about Sunday or even
Yes.
Monday the next day. What do you mean by different?
Sunday when he was kind of okay, and with the kids, because the kids sit down in the same table, and they were interacting, but for some reason Chandler was a little bit more
Tired?
quiet in a way.
Yeah.
But he was, and he
Sore
looked
shoulder.
kinda also sleepy.
Yeah.
On
yeah.
the 4th of July?
Yeah,
What about the next day?
tired. The next day, I'm sorry, I just thought that Chandler was so depressed that he probably took his mom's pills because she had cancer. So
Objection.
Oh. What?
May we approach?
Okay.
Hold on 1 second. We're going to talk again.
What? And we're skipping.
Rephrase the question, meaning I'll ask it a different way. You've talked to police a lot in this case, right? And told them what
Right.
happened?
Right.
Fair to say that you described that day, the 5th, when Chandler was out there, that he was acting kind of dopey and just
Does anyone know how his brother is? Well, I think he's split with the girl, his fiance. Someone said that they got married and then got not married. Others say they just didn't get married. We don't know. I mean, how do we know? I mean, he's got the Hilgendorfs. I'm sure they'll look after him. I mean, they've probably adopted him. I mean, they're really tight. The kids grew up together. They were born the same time. Jane Hilgendorf was the best friend of Krista for like 40 years. So I'm sure they will, be there for him in every way that they can and that he needs.
way different than usual, maybe.
Right.
Okay. Now, after this day is over and Chandler leaves, that's the 5th. So you saw him on July 4th, 4th of July, everyone's out. July 5th, he's out using the pool. You see him a couple days later, right? Tell me about that.
The next day?
Yeah,
Well, it was Tuesday, so we had beat-ups.
sure. Is that your normal thing?
Yeah,
You have some Buffalo Wild Wings that day?
yeah.
That's a family thing.
Yes, Chandler, James, and Catherine and I, we like beat-ups. So we always buy what my son likes, what Catherine likes, what Chandler likes, and what I like. and it's just the four of us.
And that was on Tuesday?
Yes.
Because it's buy one, get one free, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
I think so too. And you've mentioned James a couple times. James is your son.
Yes, that's correct.
And this was at your house?
Yes.
Okay. Did Chandler say anything? And now, again, I'm only looking for things Chandler said to you, not James or Catherine. They're, that's a different.
And I think she's jumpy, but she's also trying to do this kind of, polite thing, like a certain unnatural etiquette. She's like, oh yes, thank you, please. And, oh yes, please, thank you. And yes, please. It's like, watch for it. It's quite funny. It's like what some people do in a job interview. Oh yes, please. And thank you, please.
Different thing. But did Chandler say anything to you when you guys were doing the Buffalo Wild Wings night about his parents or where they were?
He was just worried because he wasn't here from his parents yet.
Okay. Did he tell you anything more about that?
No.
How was he acting on this day?
Tired. Sad in a way, maybe.
Okay. At some point, did you find out that Bart and Krista Halderson were missing? Like the people were looking for them and they didn't know where they were?
Well, 2 times it was brought up that they were missing. And on Tuesday, I questioned myself how they're missing. And I questioned saying, I will say that I didn't hear from my parents, or my parents hasn't called me, or I would not say missing unless I know they were missing.
Okay. And I know other people may have, but did you personally talk to Chandler about filing a police report or what to do about his parents missing, like what actions he should take?
No.
Okay. Did you know Bart and Krista Halderson very well yourself?
No. I just know what Chandler told me.
Okay.
And Catherine, of course.
Chandler tended to keep me over here and his parents over here, so that the load of shit he was telling them, when he came to me, he could tell me a completely different load of shit, and the different groups would be none the wiser. It was much easier for him to navigate his field of manipulation that way.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to take a break now for just 1 second. So if you want to get a drink of water, but it'll just be about 30 seconds, okay?
Or hand sanitizer.
Can I use the bathroom?
Sure. Counsel, the witness would like to use the restroom, so I'm going to excuse her to go do that as you consult, and then she'll come right back.
Well, she's obviously going to be crying in the bathroom, so it's going to be 20 minutes.
On cross-examination of this.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Would you prefer if I call you Dulce or Ms. Belanger?
Dulce.
Okay. I promise I'm not as scary as I make it seem right now. Sometimes I just have to tell Bill not to do things, and that's what we're doing, okay? So I just have a couple questions for you.
Bill, it's Assistant State Prosecutor William Brown. Thank you.
And I know you may not like this topic, but I just want to clear up some points. When you were talking about Cress in the farm and in the pool, she was topless, correct?
Yes.
And it makes you uncomfortable, correct? Talking about it.
Very.
So when we saw you, that was just you being uncomfortable about Cress being topless and Chandler having to see that, correct?
Both.
Both the fact that she was topless and the fact that Chandler had to see.
No, that the fact that she was topless and that Chandler came in the pool.
Gotcha. Okay. But as far as Chandler making you feel uncomfortable, that's not something that
He came in the pool singing Swing Low, Sweet Chariot.
you were feeling personally. It was just the situation with Cress being topless. And let me ask it this way. That day in the pool on the 5th, it was just a weird situation. Is that fair?
It was very weird, the whole thing.
The whole thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Chandler was acting dopey. I think that's what the DA used.
Yes, but also I know Chandler that he is very polite, so I was like kind of surprised how there he went in the pool when Chris was topless, and he made me uncomfortable for that.
And that makes total sense. I would react that way too.
Absolutely, Bethany. It's a cheap tactic. We're going to make her cry. We're going to make her cry on the stand.
Now, as far as your interactions with Chandler go, you mentioned that you took him out to dinner.
It wasn't dinner, it was more like lunch. I think I say it was midday.
Yeah, I looked up Rosita's. It's just a taco joint. It's not the sort of place where they have tablecloths or wine chillers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you took him out for lunch and it was just you and him, right?
In fact, they don't have a liquor license at all.
Yes, yeah.
Was that the first time you had interactions with Chandler where it was just you and him?
Yes.
Okay, Allison. Was it Allison that came up with the PTSD thing as well? You're on a roll. You might need to join our creative development team. Topless Taco Joint. I've always wanted to be the proprietor of a topless taco joint, but I will settle for selling mugs. Topless Taco Joint. We could do a crossover with the Adelson case. I don't know what we're going to do with that, but it's going to be beautiful.
And most of the times he's with Kat, correct?
Yes.
And you also mentioned something about whenever it's him and Kat and you guys cook. Is that correct?
Didn't cook, yeah. Chandler is, yes.
Does Chandler help out?
Chandler likes to make good salmon, so.
Yeah, he loves salmon. In fact, yeah, he's particularly partial to the imported Chilean sea bass and foie gras, anything expensive. Yeah, that I pay for.
Oh, yeah, Catherine and Chandler, they didn't cook.
So
they
they
leave a
cook-
mess, but, yeah.
As they do.
Yeah, they make a big fucking mess in my kitchen. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they cook, you take advantage, but then you have to clean. Is that fair?
Well, I have to clean, yeah.
Is the food worth it at least?
I beg your pardon?
Is the food worth the cleaning? Sorry, is the food worth the cleaning that you have to do?
Oh, yes, Chandler is a good cook.
And I have the same problem you do.
Is he? He can't fucking spell spaghetti. Oh, what else did he spell wrong? He spelled spaghetti wrong. He spelled jalapeno wrong. He spelled sriracha wrong. And he abbreviates noodles to nudes. Is that worth it? An L and an E?
Or sometimes I need to speak into the mic, so that's why I'm sitting down right now.
Okay.
So in general, your interactions with Chandler and Kat, they're good, yes?
In some ways, yes.
And Chandler is a quiet person, correct?
Yes.
And we'll see your daughter later, but she brings out some of Chandler's funniness, if you will.
Yes. He can be funny.
He can be funny, but normally he's just quiet. He's a quiet guy.
Well, I think is when they were together. I mean, he was kind of funny. Yeah, he was. Yeah. In a way, Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, the recipe for the noodles that he had to write down, right, was, what was it? It was so short, I'm sure I can remember it. It was like, onion, fry in olive and sesame oil, add noodles, serve with sriracha. Yeah, okay.
yes, we're all funny in a way. I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have any other questions for you. Thank you so much.
Any redirect?
No.
May this witness be excused and released?
Excused.
Okay. You're excused from testifying any further today, or at least this morning. But the state is maintaining you under subpoena, which means you can't discuss your testimony with anyone else. And they'll let you know when you're released from the subpoena itself, all right? Thank you. And you can take the water with you. Thank you very much.
Oh, here's Chandler's call, I think, to Cress.
Is this supposed to be going on? Okay.
The screen in front of you shows what the jury's seeing.
No? All right, thank you. That's right there.
Hi, Chris. This is Chandler. I just got back with some pretty terrible news from my doctor. So I was wondering if I could come by. Just, I don't know, take a couple laps to the pool or hang out. Something. I'm not having the most ideal day, I suppose.
Yeah. I got my dad's torso in the trunk, and it's too big to fit in the trash can. So, I know that you've got that woodland. Think I could swing by and drop something off?
Well, call me back, 920-838-4549. Thank you.
What are the corresponding letters of the alphabet spell out if we go through his phone number? So 9 would be... Shit, what is it? I. 20 is T. 8 is H. No. Yes. Ith. C-H. Ith-ch. D-E-D. Dead. 454. Dead. 9 is I. So, ith-ch. Deddy. Ith-ch deddy. Ith-ch deddy. Well, it does say dead.
Bye. Monday, 4:25 p.m.
Alice in Wonderland. It's amazing what you can do with upper lowercase letters.
And this was message 116.
Yeah,
So there was a beginning
kind of
part of
weird,
Chris.
actually.
Yeah, let's check out
This
Chris.
year?
would be our preference. Would that be something you could feel that you could do today?
No.
All right, if you prefer to maintain your mask, I understand. Pull the microphone much closer because it does muffle our sound naturally.
Okay.
And if I have trouble hearing you and I'm really close to you, I'll ask you to do even closer just so everybody who's a little further away can hear. And as you can hear, the blowers are on this morning, so it muffles sound a little bit. Thank you.
Okay.
Please proceed, Attorney Raymond.
Thank you. Could you please state your full name, both first and last, for the record, and then spell both your first and last name?
Crescent Lasai, C-R.
I know, right? He doesn't sound convincing at all. It's like, hey, Chris, I just got some pretty terrible news from my doctor, and I was wondering if I could come by. I mean, what is he thinking? That someone's going to listen to this vague fucking sob story and be like, what? It's a joke. He's a joke.
E-S-E-N-T L''S-A-I.
And Ms. Lasai,
Yeah, I think you're right, Bethany. He gave Crest the creeps right from the beginning.
do you know somebody by the name of Dulce Melander?
Yes, I do.
How do you know her?
She's my girlfriend.
Okay. And does she refer to you often as Cress?
Yes, everyone mostly does. And you
Okay.
can as well.
And do you know somebody by the name of Catherine Melander?
Yes, I do.
How do you know her?
I know her through Dulce. She's her daughter.
And through Catherine or Kat, did you become acquainted with somebody by the name of Chandler Halderson?
Yes.
And the judge will probably ask everyone to remove their masks, besides you and the jury. But could you see Mr. Halderson Chandler in the courtroom today?
Yes, I do.
As you look at the faces, I'll ask everyone not in the jury box to lower their mask and then replace their mask, please. Go ahead and answer the question if you could.
Yes.
Could you just let us know where he's seated and perhaps the color of his shirt?
Well, he's sitting across the room over there. He's got a blue tie on.
Okay, I'd ask the record to reflect that the witness has identified the defendant.
It shall.
What sort of relationship did you have with Chandler in June or so of 2021?
This year?
Yes.
Well,
Last year technically because it's January, but yes.
true, yeah. Well, I didn't spend a whole lot of time with Chandler. I to know him through Catherine mostly. Most
Sure.
of the times I saw him were either get-togethers or through her.
Okay. And roughly, where do you live?
In Cottage Grove, in the town.
In a rural part of Cottage Grove?
Yes.
And just while I approach you, I'm going to put my mask on.
Thank you.
Nobody's ever complained I was quiet. I'm going to show you what's been marked and received as Exhibit 57. Is this an overhead picture of your property in Cottage Grove?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So your house, you can barely see the roof right there. Is that correct?
That's correct. It's in the wooded area.
Okay. And that's like the top half, almost right in the middle of Exhibit 57. And this is a barn or a shed?
Yeah, it's an old tobacco shed.
Okay. And right here, this is a pool?
Yes.
Okay. And all of this wooded area, is that your property?
Yes.
And there's more property over here that's not shown.
True. That's correct.
What is on that property?
You mean the part that's unseen?
Yeah.
It's all grassy area. It's in a CRP program, a set-aside program, so it's just for wildlife.
So it's like wildflowers. Some people might describe it as like a briar, like little bushes.
Yeah, there's actually wild raspberries and things that can grow in there, right?
Before July 4th weekend, how many times approximately had Chandler been out to your property?
Ooh, I couldn't say exactly. I could give you an estimate.
Sure, an estimate is just fine.
Like 10 or 12 times, maybe.
Okay. And did he ever come out there prior to the July 4th weekend by himself, or was he always with somebody else?
He always was with someone else. He'd never come out there alone before that I'm aware of.
Okay. And generally, I assume that was his girlfriend, Kat?
Yeah, she was always with him.
Okay. And prior to July 4th weekend, what understanding did you have as far as what Chandler did for a living?
Well, what I understood is he'd gotten a job at American Family. He was working there as far as I knew.
And did you have any understanding as if he was attending school or not?
I wasn't, I knew he had been in school, but I didn't know if he was going to school recently, but I knew he was in school. He was getting ready to graduate.
Okay. Do you see Chandler Halderson over the July 4th weekend?
Yes,
And what day did you see him?
on Sunday,
So July 4th itself.
yes.
How did Mr. Halderson behave on that day?
Well, he kind of seemed a little lot not like himself. If that
Can you
makes sense.
describe that? What do you mean by that?
He just seemed kind of off, like kind of weird, actually.
Okay.
I mean, I remember asking him how he felt, you know, because he just kind of seemed.
Okay. You asked him how he felt. What did you remember how he responded?
Yeah, he just said, "Oh, you know, I'm doing okay, or I'm doing the best that I can," and because he had an accident, he fell down the stairs or something. So I thought maybe it was because of the accident that he was acting off.
Sure. Was he displaying any physical symptoms on July 4th?
Not that I saw, no.
Okay. Was he wearing a neck brace at all on July 4th when you saw him?
No.
Did he act in any way that he seemed like disabled? Did he have any trouble walking or anything like that?
No, I didn't notice that.
Okay. Did you have any one-on-one conversations with Chandler on July 4th?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Well, shortly after he was done eating, our kids were sitting at the table in my family room, and they had gotten up, and I was kind of walking towards the kitchen, and he approached me and asked me if he could have my phone number, my personal phone number, because he wanted to know if he could come and use the pool.
Okay. Did you give him your number?
Yeah, I gave him my cell number, and I also gave him my landline,
Okay.
because I don't always answer my cell phone, and I don't have voicemail on my cell phone.
Okay. Did you guys have any further discussion on that day?
I don't recall.
Okay. So obviously prior to July 4th, he didn't have your number to your knowledge.
Not to my knowledge, I didn't give it to him.
Okay. And in all fairness, when you hung out with Chandler prior to July 4th, it was always with other people,
Yes,
namely Dulce and her family.
correct.
Okay. As of July 4th, did you have any knowledge about the whereabouts of Chandler's parents?
No, I didn't even know their names.
Did you know whether or not, had you heard any stories or anything about them being missing at this point?
No.
Okay. Let's fast forward to the next day, Monday,
This is the state, Amy.
July 5th. Did you have any interactions with Chandler on Monday, July 5th?
Yes.
What's the first interaction you had with Chandler on that day?
Well, the first interaction was I opened up my window. I live in a two-story, and I saw a car in my driveway. I came in from outside to get a drink of water, and I saw a car, and I didn't recognize the car. And someone was standing in my driveway, and it was Chandler. So I
Okay.
opened the window.
The defense really is just trying to do a super extension on the meaning of reasonable doubt. We'll see it at the defense closing argument. I mean, that really was their only gambit. The attorney Vera, I think it is, basically says, do you know how Bart and Krista died? Have you seen a video? Because if you haven't seen a video, then you don't really know what happened. Reasonable doubt. You know, it's like that's basically what it comes down to. Which is ridiculous. I guess ultimately they are willing to concede that he disposed of the remains and that sort of thing. There's really no way out of that, but they're hoping to get him off the murder charge by, it could be that Bart came home and went down to the basement, tripped over the automatic weapon, and shot himself in the back. And then when Krista got back with the quick trip shopping, she headed down to the basement to put something in the freezer, saw Bart's body and ran over to him, also tripped on the gun and shot herself in the back. And then Chandler found both of his parents dead and opted to cut them into small pieces and set their heads on fire. You know, which would make him, in that scenario, not guilty of a double homicide. That's probably the best summary I could think of as why we're even here at this trial at public expense.
So, because he was kind of standing holding his phone and...
But thank God they did it. Wouldn't it have been amazing if we got a fucking Chris Watts trial? Huh? We should try and write it. Just as a story, a screenplay. You know, the fantasy trial that never happened. But, you know, I think we know enough about the state's theory and the discovery and the people involved and who would have been called as a witness to do a pretty reliable fictional rendition of that trial that never happened, the Chris Watts trial. You know, would have been quite the show.
And looking around, and so I opened the window and I said, I asked him if he was okay. And he said, yeah. And I said, oh, I said, are you here to use the pool? And he said, yeah, would that be all right? And I said, yeah, sure.
Were you expecting Chandler that day?
No.
Okay. All right. So do you remember about what time he showed up to use your pool? Just approximate, if you remember.
It was in the afternoon. I just remember coming in. It was really hot that day. I was working on a project. And so I came in to get a drink of water. So it was probably mid-afternoon-ish, I would say.
Okay. And what was Chandler like when you talked to him right there about using the pool? Was there anything noteworthy?
You mean when he was in the driveway?
Yeah.
Well, he just looked a little kind of spaced out a little bit, you know.
Sure.
That's why I was kind of, you know, because he kept looking around and holding his phone and, you know. And like I said, I was just a little startled because I'm like, who's here, you know?
Sure. Your property's pretty remote.
Yeah, it is.
And your property, just to clear things up, is in Dane County, Wisconsin?
Correct.
So what happened after you told Chandler he could use the pool?
Well, he drove up, you know, because if you come, I live on a hill, and when you come to the driveway, it's kind of in the middle of the hill, and so you have to drive further up the hill to where the pool is. So he drove up there.
Okay.
There's no way Chris Watts would have taken the stand. No way. I'd bet $1,000 if that went to trial, Chris Watts ain't taking the stand, man. I've never been more sure about anything. No way would he take the stand.
Did you see at this time when he was going to use the pool, did you see at this time where he parked?
No, I did not see where he had parked at that time.
Okay. All right. So do you guys have any further discussion before he goes to use the pool?
He did come down to where I was working on my project, which was putting on a ramp on my deck. I was putting a ramp so that my father and my brother could get up and down the deck in their, on the scooter and the wheelchairs.
Okay.
And so when I was working on that, he'd come down, there's a hill that leads down to my house, and he'd come walking down that hill. And then we had a conversation.
What did you guys talk about?
Well, he was telling me about his accident. He said he was at a doctor's appointment. And so he was talking to me about what the doctor had said and what was going on.
Did he tell you when that appointment had been?
I don't remember.
Okay. What did he say occurred?
Well, he told me that he had like damage, and I asked him where, and he said in this area of his head, in the back of his head, and
all right. So you put your hand right above the top of your neck.
Back here, yeah.
Okay.
The back of his head.
And did he elaborate on what that damage was?
Well, he said it wasn't good, that they might have to do some surgery or something, and that he said he was having trouble like with numbers, and he said he got lost. He had to use a GPS. He's just like said his mind was kind of messed up and wasn't thinking so well.
Okay. Did you guys discuss anything besides just his physical health?
Yeah, I asked him, how he was overall doing, and about his job, because he said he was getting a new job in Florida, and I asked him about that, and
What did he say?
Well, he said that he probably wasn't going to get the job, that some manager had told him that it wasn't going to work out because of his injury, that he wasn't able to work.
Some manager.
And I asked him about maybe he could go back to
carpet
American
bagger.
Family, and he said no, he didn't. He said that wouldn't happen. He wouldn't be able to do that. So he seemed concerned about, maybe not having a job and what was he going to kind of do. And I asked him, would he talk to his parents? Maybe could he talk to them, or, things like that, just to try to reassure him, because he just seemed upset about this news that he had gotten from the doctor.
Sure. And what did he respond to that?
To what?
To talk to the idea of talking to his parents about his job and health.
And he said, no, they're still up north. And I just says, well, maybe it would help you to talk to them. And his response is, he says, no, they'll just be mad. And which seemed odd to me, why his parents would be upset with him, that he was hurt and couldn't work. It just seemed odd to me.
Okay. How long do you think this conversation took place?
Oof. I don't know, maybe 20 minutes or so.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
All right. What happened after the conversation?
Well, I'm trying to remember, Dulce showed up. She'd come. I wasn't expecting her, but she had come to the house, and she came through the house. We were sitting on the deck, and she came and was like, what's going on? And I said, oh, well, I'm just chatting with Chandler here. And I guess he doesn't have such good news. And then she came out and sat down and asked what was going on. And then we started to kind of go back over what him and I had talked about to explain to her what was happening.
Sure. And the jury's already had the opportunity to hear from Dulce, so I don't need you to repeat anything that she said.
Okay.
But what kind of happened next in the events of
Well, then
that
he
day?
went to go use the pool, because before he'd come down and I'd asked him, how was the pool? He didn't answer. And so he said he was going to go back to use the pool. And then Dulcie and I continued to talk because we just felt something was a little odd, you know, so we were concerned, and her and I had a conversation about him of what was going on.
Okay, and then what happened after that?
Well, I kind of got irritated. It was so hot and I wanted to go swimming, and I was waiting for him to be done using the pool so I could go jump in the pool. And so I was getting impatient and waiting, you know, wondering what was taking him so long. So I said, look, I'm going to go get in the pool. I'm done. You know, I'm hot and I'm tired and I want to go cool off. And she said, okay. So she went to go get her suit, and then her and I have this little riding lawnmower. And so we got on the riding lawnmower to go up to tell him, hey, we're going to go swimming now. And when we got up there, he wasn't in the pool, and the cover was still on the pool. And
Okay, so hold on. The pool has a cover.
yeah, I have like a solar. It heats up. It helps get the water warm, so it just lays flat on the top.
Sure.
So it's got like a little bubble.
And obviously you have to remove said cover to get into the pool.
Yeah, there's times I got lazy where I could fold it over just to get in, but I usually like to take it off so I could have the whole
Was it
pool.
folded over so somebody could get in?
I think it's the cowboy from The Big Lebowski.
At all?
No.
Was that Sam Elliott? I never remember that actor's name.
All right. So the
I think it is Sam.
covers on the pool is Chandler in sight when you're over by the pool.
No.
Okay. And just is it Exhibit 57? Here's the pool, the round blue. This is an aerial photo, so it almost just looks like a dot.
Right, that's the pool area.
Okay. So what do you do next?
Well, when we drove up and you could kind of see no one was in the pool, and I didn't see, I was looking for him, and then when I looked to my right, when we came up the hill, I had the doors open in the shed, and I could see through the shed that his car was parked on the other side of the shed.
All right. Can you approach Exhibit 57 here and kind of point to where you saw Chandler's vehicle?
We came up, there's a hill here, and we came up, and we could see through the doors.
You could.
The car was parked right about here.
Okay. Thank you. So he was parked kind of near, this is some wood and an oil drum.
Yeah, there's a pile of timber logs, and then it's like my scrap junk pile for metal and things.
Fair. And it's kind of near the wooded line here. Okay. All right. So I'm not the best estimator, Judge. I would say 4 inches south of the barn, maybe 1 inch above the oil tank on Exhibit 57 is the area that the witness pointed.
That seems to be a fair description, yes.
Okay. I'm going to have you sit down just so we can hear you nice and loud on that microphone.
Okay.
So what do? You see his, oh, well, hold on 1 second. Do you remember what kind of vehicle he was driving that day?
It was like a little station wagon, like a hatchback.
Okay.
It might have been a Subaru, I'm not sure.
Okay. Do you know, was the hatch? Oh,
I just realized it's 6 a.m. So I think we're going to wrap up Cress, and we're going to do Kat Mallender tomorrow. Interviews and witness testimony and jail calls. Well, that's a lot to do. Yeah, but let's make Kat the focus of tomorrow. That'll be great. That'll be a good episode.
open, closed, something else?
The back hatch, the back was open.
Okay. All right, so that's where you observe the car, the back hatch, or if you're not a car person like me, you say the trunk was open. What do you do?
Well, yeah, because we go and he's not in the pool, and we see the car, and then I'm like, what the heck is going on? What is he doing? And I said, well, I'm going to go over, and Dulcie was like, we were like, what's he doing? You know, what is going on?
Sure.
So we drove over to see if he was in the back of the car. Was he sleeping? What was he doing? Was he smoking weed or something? We didn't know. So we drove over there and with the mower and approached, and I drove to the back of the car because the...
Thank you so much for the super chat, Victoria Girl. Awesome job. Awesome job. Pretty in pink.
The back end was backed towards me.
Okay, so the back end was facing closer to the barn or the oil drum?
Towards me. The front end was facing the shed.
Oh, towards you right now.
Yes, towards
Okay,
me
so
right
toward
now.
the woods, towards the wood
Yeah, so
line,
it's facing this way.
the trunk hatch
Was
is up.
So
Okay.
we drove in the mower and drove to the back of the car because I thought maybe he was in the back of the car
Sure.
taking a nap or I don't know. And we look in there and there wasn't anything in the car that we could see.
Okay, and at this point, you see the car, it's empty, or there's no Chandler in it. Do you see Chandler anywhere on your property?
No, because then we stopped and we're like, what the heck? We're looking around, what's he doing? Where is he? And Dulce was kind of upset at that moment because she's thinking maybe he's doing drugs or something. She was really upset, thinking, well, he's doing drugs or something. What the
Okay.
hell's he doing? So I said, I don't know, but I'm done. I'm going to get in the pool. I just was hot and irritated and just didn't want to deal with it. And so I said, I'm going to the pool. So we left and drove and parked the mower by the pool.
Okay, so you took your mower
Drove back
over by the pool.
and parked and then proceeded and got in the pool.
Okay, so you're in the pool. When is the next time you see Chandler?
Do you want me to show you on that map?
Absolutely, I would love that.
Well,
Why don't you do it and then I'll say it again so it's in the mic.
we were in the pool, and I would say it was right approximately in this area. He was walking this way towards us, coming towards us. I thought maybe he was going to the car, but then he went past the car and kept coming towards us.
Okay, so why don't you sit and I'll try to say it again in the mic. So you saw him, you kind of pointed, there's some white, I don't know what.
I don't think they did microbial dance party. Did they ask him what were you doing in the woods when he came to the pool? That would have been a good starting point, wouldn't it? I mean, I suppose he could have quite easily said, Kat and I walked down there last night and I remembered that I left my thermos next to a tree. I had to go and get my thermos, which I don't have now. A squirrel must have stolen my thermos, but that's why I was in the woods.
What that is, it
I
might
don't
just
know.
be
Oh,
wood.
those are old beehives.
Oh, okay,
I got
so-
a bunch of beehives that I cleaning out my shed, and they were old, and I just threw them out there.
Okay, was he kind of coming from that area?
Yeah, he was walking like that direction, like towards that way, yeah, coming
All
that
right,
way.
and his car was here, but he walked past his car, you said,
Yes,
and then walked over by the pool?
right.
Okay. Do you remember what he was wearing?
Like baggy shorts. He had a shirt on, I thought, before, and when he came back, he didn't have a shirt.
So when he
Yeah, Bethany, it's an above ground, glorified paddling pool. Before I saw it, I thought because he said laps, it would have at least been, a rectangle. It's just a round thing. It's like a plunge pool, It's kind of deep, but it's just you plunge. You sit in there, plunge, and you get up. You don't do laps. You go round and round, this tiny circle.
was approaching the pool, coming out of the wooded area, no shirt.
Right.
Okay. All right, so he's approaching the pool. Does he actually get up to the pool?
Yeah, he came up to the pool. When I said, hey, Chandler, I don't have a shirt on.
Sure.
Because I go shirtless in my pool. That's kind of why I was waiting for him to leave, because I wanted to have the privacy to get in my pool.
Sure. Okay. You tell him you don't have a shirt on. What happens next?
And he said, well, if it would be all right, I'd like to get in the pool. I'm kind of sticky and I'm hot. And I remember looking at Dulce because I want to be respectful. And I said, well, I don't have a problem with it, Dulce, if you don't. And she just kind of was shrugged and, I kind of could tell she didn't really like it, but she just kind of turned and was sort of like, whatever. And so I said, okay. And so then I kind of turned and he got in the pool. And he went to the east side of the pool and we kind of went to the west side of the pool.
Okay, and was he actively swimming or something
No, he
else?
just kind of dipped up and down and kind of was like washing, like himself off. He said it was kind of scratchy on his walk and he's itchy and sticky, so he was just kind of like.
So you did a motion with your hands and you said the word wash.
Yeah, like he'd dunk down and then he'd kind of like, be doing like this and dunk down and kind of.
Okay, kind of washing himself, rinsing himself off.
Yeah, and then it was odd because he just seemed really different when he got in the pool from when he was talking to us before.
Different how?
Well, he seemed more lucid, like he just seemed more present.
Yeah. After he'd conned his way into my property to ditch his father's remains under a fucking pile of sticks, his ruse was needed no more, so he was just normal again. I was thinking this yesterday, right? Chandler's interview with the detectives, all of this hour and a half where he's like, could I have the card so I could read my rights? I missed some. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, yeah, brain injury, we get it. Yeah. Real slow. I mean, after the cops basically throw all of his bullshit out of the window and say, yeah, okay, we're not going to tell you what happened. You were there when it happened. We're not BSing you, man. You're under arrest. I would think that there was a point soon after where Chandler snapped out of it. Okay, I accept that he was fucking tired. But, this whole act thing about being slow in the mind. You're really going to keep on embarrassing yourself like this in front of, grown men and women, officers. We've just told you we haven't bought any of your bullshit. You're going to fucking... Aren't you humiliated of your own pathetic bullshit scheme? And how it fails? Are you going to really keep going with this? There must have been a point that he just snapped out of it. Why don't we get that video? Why do they fucking cut the video at the end of the interrogation? There should be a film crew following him round for booking. The whole thing. Maybe that'll happen in the future.
Did you say present or pleasant?
Present,
you.
Focused.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I said Crescent, which is my name. By the way, everybody, it is CRES. One S. It's not the cress that you eat. It's just one S.
Okay, what happened next?
Well, then Dulce was starting to ask him questions because I think she was concerned maybe he was doing some drugs, and I think she just wanted to sort of see if he was. So she started asking him questions and things like that to see how he would respond, because while he was gone and we were in the pool, that's what she spoke to me mostly about, is what's going on with him. I'm worried. I don't know why he's acting this way. What's he doing? And so...
Just to clear this up, though, no paraphernalia or any evidence of drugs was ever found?
None, ever. Okay. And he admitted, that was one of the questions. She says, if you're doing drugs, Chandler, I'm telling you right now, that's a deal breaker. And if you ever come... And he said, I will never, ever bring drugs to the house, or I don't do drugs. He...
Okay, I just wanted to clear that
Yeah,
up.
she confronted him about that.
Okay. What happens next?
Well, we just started talking, she was worried, where was he going to stay, because he thought he lost his job, and she was offered to say he could stay maybe at her house in town for a while if he needed to.
Pardon me, I have to interrupt here. This is all hearsay.
Agreed. I'll go ahead and ask to rephrase the question, and those last responses
Sure.
fall in that category.
Outside of specifics of the conversation, how long was Chandler in the pool?
Oh, maybe 15 minutes-ish, roughly.
All right. And at some point, does he get out of the pool first, or do you?
He got out first. He said he was in a hurry. He had to go. That Catherine was getting dinner or something, and so he was like on a mission and had to like, let's go, and he got out and went to the car and drove off.
Okay. And his car that he went to was over there by the oil tank near the wood line?
Right.
All right. I just want to back up here a second. You said at first, when you first talked with him on the deck when you were working on a project with Dulce, he then left to supposedly go swimming, and then you didn't see him until he walked out of the wood line later. About what was the time gap between there? Between the time...
Okay. So I guess he told them he was on a walk. Hey, Chris, can I come round to use the pool after my terrible news that I got because my legs are fucked and I can't walk? I need to use the pool so I can exercise my legs. So that, and then when I get there, I'm going to suddenly decide that instead of doing that, to fix my legs that don't walk, I'm going to go for a walk. Just any walk. Just a mile in and back, I wonder what the torso weighed. I mean, he's quite a big guy. Like that's most of the heft of a human cadaver is shoulders to hips, below the hips, including the whole hip area. That's got to be 60% of the body weight, hasn't it? If you put the torso on a scale and then head, arms, legs on the other side, which one goes down? Fucking Leonardo da Vinci would probably tell us that they are exactly the same weight.
And he said, I'm going to go to the pool, and the time he actually went to the pool.
The first time or the second time? Or all together? Because
All together. So the time you were on the deck working on your project.
And he showed up until the time he left?
From the time he left you at the deck area until you saw him walk out of the wooded area. About what was the time frame in there?
I'm guesstimating, maybe 45 minutes, an hour-ish, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a guesstimate.
Okay.
It was a while. To me, it seemed forever because I wanted to get in the pool.
Sure.
So it just seemed like a long time.
And then after he got out of the pool, he got into his vehicle and drove away.
Yeah.
Now, later that day, did you find out that he actually had attempted to contact you prior to coming to your property?
Yeah, later, I remember seeing the message was blinking on my landline. And so I pressed it, and then a name came up, and I didn't know I didn't recognize the name, and then I heard Chandler's voice. So he had left me a message, but I didn't realize it until after he'd come and gone, and I listened to it later.
So he left you a message or a voicemail?
Yeah, and saying he wanted to come and could he come and use the pool.
And did you turn that message or voicemail over to the Dane County Sheriff's Office?
Yes, I did.
And did you turn over a true and accurate copy of that message?
Yes, it's still on there right now.
Okay. I would at this time move Exhibit 64 into evidence.
No objection.
It is received.
Here's the transfer. And I would ask to publish the message to the jury.
You may.
I thought that was a coffee notification.
Is this supposed to be going on? Okay.
Last call for coffees. Support the channel at buymeacoffee.com/True Crime Metrix. Only 2 minutes left.
The screen in front of you shows what the jury's seeing.
Oh.
No?
All right.
Oh, this again.
That's right there.
Hi, Seth, this is Chandler. I just got back with some pretty terrible news from my doctor, so I was wondering if I could come by.
Yeah, just wanted to put that into context from the get-go that I'm going to need you to feel really sorry for me and even allow me to use your property when you might not be comfortable to do so. Feel the pressure of my situation, please. Brush away my tears. Terrible news. Pretty terrible news.
I don't know, take a couple laps to the pool or hang out, something. I'm not having the most ideal day, I suppose.
Not having the most ideal day, I suppose. Yeah, I just wanted to tail off with another reminder that, you know, you're going to have to give me special treatment because of my terrible day. No, not ideal day, terrible news. Those are interchangeable. He'll get there and he'll be like, I just had some not ideal news and my day is terrible. Terrible news on my non-ideal day. Thank you, Victoria Girl, for that fabulous super chat. Just before we close, angel you are.
Well, call me back, 920-838-4549. Thank you.
And, yeah, Robert, is it Robert? Robert D has an interesting point that I've been wondering about as well. Robert D says, I think he pulled up to Cress's thinking she wasn't home, and when she turned out to be there, he said, I'm here to use the pool like I discussed with you prior. Now, we know, because Cress testified, that when Chandler asked her for her personal phone number, that she gave to him her cell phone and landline for the expressed reason of that sometimes she does not answer her cell phone. So now Chandler's made a call to her cell phone. No answer, left a message. What he hasn't done is phone the landline. You know? So maybe he is planning to go to the property in her absence, with her not there at all. And if she comes back at some point, he could say, oh, sorry, I was in the neighborhood. I did send you a voicemail, but I thought we cleared it yesterday. So I'm just going to do a couple of laps of this plunge pool for my broken legs, and then I'm going to take a 3-mile walk. Actually, there might be a problem with that, because Cress also said that she doesn't have voicemail on her cell phone. So maybe he is calling the landline here. We don't know that. Or maybe you can leave a voicemail on her cell phone, but she doesn't have access. Maybe that's what she meant by my cell phone doesn't have voicemail. I don't know. I guess we can't say either way.
Bye.
Monday, 4:25 p.m.
And this was message 116.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. On July 7th, the next day, that Tuesday, do you receive any communication from Chandler?
Not directly from Chandler, no. But I'd heard otherwise that he was trying to come out, and I was having trouble with my phone. For some reason, wasn't working my landline, and I was kind of feeling stressed and didn't really want to deal with anybody at the...
Do you think he disconnected her landline? I wouldn't put it past him. Just fucking scissor snip that cord.
the farm that day.
All right, and so did Chandler end up coming out on the 7th?
No.
Or, I'm sorry, that's the 7th, okay. Later in the course of this investigation, various items were found on your property that you were made aware of. Is that fair?
Yes.
Let me inquire, counsel. Think the
And that's where we kind of went on Cress's testimony backwards there. I wonder how long we've been streaming tonight. When did we start? 2 o'clock. That's 9 for all of you guys. So it's gone 1 a.m. in Eastern Standard, huh? Maybe we should stop. But you know, I'll probably not be able to sleep and then come back in an hour. Start it all over again. Who knows? I don't know how people keep to schedules, you know. We should do, ultimately. But, we won't. Yeah. Should we start something else? Oh, what's Robert D saying? Oh, Robert D sent a couple of messages. Let's see. And if Cress hadn't been at home upon discovery of the body, maybe the senile old man shot him. He shot a buck at 95. Yeah. That's, you know, he mentions Chandler really gave away his modus operandi right from the beginning of the interview. On the very first question, he starts going on about the dog broke the glass, right? He can't resist to get that version, that thing that needs to be explained away on record. It's the first thing he says. So when he goes off on that kind of tangent about I wouldn't have gone to the property because they would have shot me, and then he alludes to this really old guy being a sharpshooter, a marksman, and maybe he's old and crazy and, you know, senile, shooting anyone who sets foot on the property. He seems to at least be giving some foundation to developing that line further. But this is part of what I want to do, is identify all of Chandler's... We're going to have to go through his interrogation again after I've been through everything else again. Identify Chandler's lines, you know, lines of story development, and identify his potential development, and then try and work out when, like, if he's trying to leave it open where he could frame the old man for killing his parents, when did that come up? Did he invent that? If it is the case, did he have that in mind before he killed them? Or was it done by necessity? Because I don't think he was ever planning to dispose of the entire remains in the fireplace. It seems to have been important for him to burn the identifiable, or more identifiable, parts of the body, the faces, the hands with their fingerprints, and so on, right? That seems to have been his reason for disposing of those body parts in the fireplace, as well as the fact that they would fit. I mean, it's when you're jointing, it's pretty easy to, well, easy, you know, it's obviously going to be less messy to cut off someone's arm than it is to saw their entire midsection in half with all of the fucking organs, the stomach, the everything, you know, it's all going to come out. So he burnt things because they fit, because it was somewhat less messy, and they were identifiable parts, faces, fingerprints, so on. But it was never his intention to dispose of the torso. And we don't know, well, we can assume that his mother's torso went into the Wisconsin River, right? Why did he not take his father's torso with him? Did he think that going out to the car with 2 large bags, well, you just leave it in the car, wait an hour, and then come out with the other torso? You know, if you're going to the river anyway, then again, if he wanted to set it up so that body parts were on the farm, why not put his mother's legs there as well? Why put those somewhere else? It's, you know, we probably will never know the truth. We're certain of it. But there's little bits and pieces that come up that give credence to certain ideas. He's just trying to ascertain if she's home. She doesn't answer, so he goes over there. The voicemail message is in hopes if she is there, she'll call back and I'll know if she's home. I don't know if he'd be relying on that. I mean, she made it pretty clear that sometimes she doesn't answer her phone. I think it was probably, you know, if he went there and before he left she came back, he could say, I gave you a call. And possibly he might have anticipated the police getting hold of her phone. So if they said to him, why did you go to the farm? He'd say, well, I went to do a couple of laps. But if he's anticipating that, how the fuck would he not anticipate the cops checking his doctor appointment that he didn't go to? That it was never made? Doesn't make any sense, but I don't think it will. I don't think it needs to. Anyway, too lazy to take Dad's torso. Didn't even bury it properly. Yeah, just under a bunch of sticks. Leaves. Oh. Anyway, we should go. We should go. We'll be back. We'll be back. Many thanks to all the chatters, the super chatters, the super sticker givers, the super coffee go-getters, and the bulletproof Metrix moderators. Okay, have a safe drive home. Good night, all. Thank you, everybody. Good night.